Okay, as many of you guys know, I like to walk around the city of Flint, and this is a pretty dangerous city, and it's one of the many reasons why I conceal carry everywhere I go. Now, I have been in situations where I have been pulled over by the police, well, maybe not while driving, but I have been stopped by police officers and questioned about a firearm. For example, I was walking through one particular area, and a police officer saw the wind blow my t-shirt up, and he saw my firearm. So he stopped me as I was walking, and he asked me did I have a permit. And yes, of course I did have a permit, and it was a pretty friendly exchange. It's pretty simple. I showed him my permit. I started a conversation about guns and other stuff, and I often do that, but not every interaction is that smooth. Some police officers have different attitudes about people concealed carrying. So I want to talk about some of the issues you may run into. Okay, I actually been stopped twice by police officers regarding, and I always identify myself as carrying a firearm, and I also have a concealed carry permit. Now, if I get pulled over by the police, I'll do the same exact thing. Matter of fact, in the state of Michigan, we're required as concealed pistol license holders to actually identify ourselves as being holders and also having the firearms. Okay, that's something that we're legally required in the state of Michigan. That's something you need to do some research on to see if that applies in your own state, because not all states require you to do so. But if I get pulled over by the police, I'll simply pull out my driver's license and my concealed carry permit and let them know I'm currently carrying concealed and I have a permit. That's pretty much the first things that are going to come out of my mouth. I'm currently carrying and I have a permit. First thing I'm going to do, so the officer sees what I'm carrying. Now, I had a friend that had an incident where he got pulled over, and the police didn't really respond that well to him having a permit. They actually got him out the car, and they had his hands against the car and whatever, and they actually disarmed him and all this other stuff. Which is kind of ridiculous, because if somebody's going to take a shot at you, I mean, they're probably not going to let you know that, oh, well, I'm carrying. And I seriously doubt they're going to be a concealed carry holder, which is somebody who has gone through the whole process of getting a permit and actually had their fingerprints in the database. It's just a bit ridiculous, but that's something that could happen. Now, that's one thing. My friend wanted to know, could he legally disarm him because of that situation? Well, there's what's legally right, and then there's the practical reality you have to deal with when you're concealed carrying. You got to understand that if an officer does something that you think is illegal, you can always say things such as, I do not consent to any type of search, okay? But beyond that, understand, it's probably better that you deal with that situation after the fact than risk escalating a situation right there at the scene. You can always pursue legal avenues after the fact, and there could be consequences for the officer and the actual department after the fact. But I would not recommend escalating or really trying to make an issue out of it right there on the spot. But you always have the ability, always have the right to say, hey, I do not consent to certain types of searches or whatever. That's something you can say, and keep in mind that just because something is legally right doesn't mean that people won't cross the line. If they do, you can always pursue options after the fact. That's just something that I'm personally going to do. Other questions people have about concealed carrying in certain areas. For example, you're not supposed to conceal carry in banks. Well, you're not supposed to be carrying guns at banks or credit unions or something like that. Here's the thing, in Michigan, concealed carry holders are actually exempt from that. So if you do have a permit, from what I've read, and we're pretty much exempt under the law right here in the state of Michigan. So do your own research as to which areas are considered to be pistol-free zones. As far as movie theaters, understand that any complex or what an entertainment facility that can hold, or I think it's what, 2,500 people, it's considered to be a pistol-free zone. It says it right here, pistol-free zone. You're not supposed to bring a pistol into an entertainment facility that can actually seat more than 2,500 people. You're not supposed to bring a gun into a hospital or a dormitory or a classroom of a college or a university. Notice it doesn't say the actual campus, it just says the dormitory or the classroom of the university. That's something really important to keep in mind. It also says you can't bring it into a casino. It says daycares or child placing agencies, sports arenas, bars or taverns licensed to serve alcohol. So I just simply avoid areas, churches, synagogues. I think you can get permission in certain areas, but school property, at a school and on school property, which is also really interesting as well. I think you can leave your gun in your vehicle in a parking lot, but you can't be walking around school property with your firearm. I think a lot of these rules are pretty stupid. I understand why they would want a stadium or arena to be a pistol-free zone, or even a big theater, because those are areas that can actually be secured. But college campuses, college dorms and things like that, classrooms, they're not really easily secure. And courthouses, I understand why they don't want people bringing guns into there, because that's a place that can be secure in the very nature of it. But certain areas, in like schools, how is telling decent people not to conceal carry in school is going to make anybody safer? I mean, if somebody's going to do something bad, they're going to do something bad regardless of the law in areas like that. So I don't want to get into all that type of stuff, but I just want to put this stuff out here and let you know that you got to really dig into the law and really understand what's the situation in your own state, because some states have some really bizarre laws. Like, for example, Texas, they don't allow open carrying of pistols. I mean, even we have open carry here in Michigan. I don't really open carry a lot, but I like the idea of living in a state where open carry is legal, simply because I think it's part of my constitutional rights. And also, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm walking down the street and the wind blows my shirt open or whatever, and an officer accuses me of open carrying illegally or something like that. So I like to sort of avoid those type of situations, avoid those type of areas. But do your own research in those areas. As far as cars, one thing I would like to mention is that I always, whenever I go to a train, whenever I end up stopping at a stoplight or there's a train, I don't just, even if I'm listening to music and I'm really getting into the music, really getting into the music, up there bouncing in my seat, I wish I could do the Dougie or something, I'm always looking at the left mirror, the rear mirror, and the right mirror. I just sort of glance through those mirrors. I keep my eyes on those mirrors because I want to know what's coming up behind me on the side, on both sides, and what's going on behind me, because that's the opportunity to get carjacked. And also, when I sort of park, when I'm when the train's going by and the cars are waiting, I don't park too close. I don't stop too close to the vehicle in front of me, because I want to leave myself some room to sort of drive on out of there in case somebody is trying to carjack me. So in that situation, I might be able to avoid even drawing my firearm. I can just have enough room to sort of drive out. And I always sort of think of, okay, how can I get out of here if something does go down? So that's something I'm always thinking about as well. Even when I'm driving towards Detroit and the traffic's getting kind of tight, I sort of look for, okay, what are some avenues I can use to actually get out of here? I don't want to be bumper to bumper to the point where, I don't have a lot of maneuvering room to get out of here. So those are some of the things I like to think about as far as just safety in general. So these are some things I want to throw out here. I want you guys to really discuss and share your comments on them. Again, if you get pulled over by the police, make sure you're not try to avoid saying things like gun or whatever. Just show them your ID and say, I have a CPL, I'm carrying, and make sure they see that. And once they see that, hopefully I can make the situation a little bit better for you. But be careful, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And don't forget, the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Bye.